Watch out for the Nuggets. You don't want to play them until the finals if you can avoid it, just because of Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the two best teams are clearly the Thunder and the Grizzlies right now.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, in segment 1, we're going to let the trade winds blow. In segment 2, we're going to talk about these different teams and then the moves they've made. And in segment 3, we're going to tell you from the WNBA's perspective which teams and players you should watch in the NCAA tournament and beyond. But first, Eastern Conference. Number 1, Cleveland. 2, Boston. 3, the New York Knickerbockers. 4, Indiana Pacers. 5, Milwaukee Bucks. 6, Miami Heat hanging around. And on the outside looking in, the Pistons, the Magics, the Hawks, and the Bulls. Hottest teams in the East, Pacers, Knicks, and Boston. Will Cotton, captain for life. What are your thoughts on the East this week, sir?
Oh, I like it, man. I like it. I think the funny thing is that I find is that as good as Boston does, and as much as they beat Cleveland, they just can't get past they can't pass Cleveland. They're like 5 games away, 5 games back, but they just can't seem to catch them. But they're the better team, in my opinion. It's it's interesting. They got a little bigger. They got DeAndre Hunter. So we'll see what happens, but I just find it funny that Boston can't get into the first spot, even though they're playing better than I think the best top 3 teams in the East.
All right, George Ockett, our academic and athletic consultant. What are your thoughts on the East this week?
I'm not paying too much attention right now because I think it's going to get serious after we get past the All-Star break. I'm starting to treat basketball a whole lot like baseball because we know the top like 4 teams are kind of locked in, and then everybody underneath, they're going to keep flip-flopping places. Especially it's going to get real exciting once we hit after All-Star break. But like to Will's thought, what Will was saying with Boston, I still, even if you ask me right now, the best team in the East is Boston. I think they know that they're comfortable and they are playing regular season mode basketball. The switch has not flipped yet because we haven't got to the playoffs. So you come back and because let's be honest, the home field advantage is not that big a deal. So when we get to about August or whatever, come back and see me because that version. What is it? June when it gets started. Let me come back and see me because that version of Boston is going to be a different monster because you got to beat them in a 5 to 7 game series, and there's no team in the league that can do that.
Okay, our coach Alfred Johnson. What do you think about the East this week, Coach?
I think the only 2 teams in the East that's going to matter is again Cleveland and Boston. I think the rest of the teams are going to have a fine regular season. That's it. They are not built like those 2 teams. And Boston really, I'm in agreement with the other 2 gentlemen that they know what it takes. Tatum's performance last night just proved as they move forward, he's going to handle business. I mean, he had a hell of a performance last night. And I just think it's those 2 teams in the East. I like the DeAndre Hunter addition for Cleveland. I like that a lot. But again, we'll see if they can overtake Boston in the playoffs.
Okay. Robert, we are about 30 games out from the playoffs. Anything in the East catch your eye this week?
No, I mean, like these guys said, there's really no significant difference between being number 1 and number 2. It's that one playoff game in the conference finals. That's it.
Yes.
So I mean, the Celtics, if there's no sense of urgency for them right now. There doesn't have to be. There's not going to be. They're locked in and they're just going to kind of hang out there. And maybe the Knicks get hot and threaten them, but I doubt it. Because I mean, clearly the 2 best teams are Cleveland and Boston.
All right. In the Western Conference, 1, OKC, 2, Memphis. Hey, man, why are you getting kicked out the game, Ja's dad? What y'all doing? Okay. 3, Denver. 4, Houston. 5, Lakers. 6, Minnesota. Outside looking in, Clippers. Dallas, Phoenix, and Sacramento. Shouldn't laugh that much at Dallas. My fault. Hottest team, Memphis, Portland, and the Lakers. Will Cotton, I've been waiting all week. Hadn't talked to you on purpose. Any thoughts on the Western Conference? The floor, my friend, is all yours.
Well, I think everybody's going to think about the Luka and AD trade is going to do too much for them. I don't think it's going to do too much for the Lakers this year. They didn't get bigger. You know, they actually lost some big pieces. AD is great in terms. He does a lot of things. I don't know how much better they're going to get than Denver. I actually think Dallas got better. I think Dallas should creep up until the 6th or the 5th if AD can stay healthy, because they have a little bit more balance. He's playing his natural position. He likes playing power forward. He has athletic centers who can run the pick and roll very easy with him. And Kyrie is a great setup man, great point guard, and he's maturing a lot. He's maturing a lot better than we remember on the pandemic side when he was very like, I'm not doing that, and I'm not doing this, and I'm doing this, and da 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 da. He's focusing just on basketball. That's the best Kyrie we have. I think they're going to be a lot better. I think Sacramento's going to be a lot better. So if I was Minnesota, Clippers, Rockets, you got to get tight, because the Rockets were like top 2 or top 3, and now they're sleeping. They're slipping down because it's getting tight, man. It's getting tight. So I would look for Dallas to move up. I would look for the Kings to move up. And yeah, I don't think the Lakers are going to do too much this year. I think their trade is going to be more down the line. But you can't go wrong with LeBron and Luka. So we'll see what happens. But it should be exciting.
All right, George, you are also active in the chat this week. Any thoughts on the Western Conference?
I hate this because we got to go back and talk about the Lakers again. I'm not a Laker hater, and I'm not, but it's just like a soap opera, and I'm sick and tired of hearing about a team that in the long run is probably not going to win an NBA championship. We got that trade happen, and I think Dallas, it probably will help Dallas out, but it really won't, because like we saw, AD went down last night with an unspecified contact injury, whatever that might be. It gave the Lakers a boost. The NBA likes having the Lakers hot because it makes money for the NBA, and they needed to do something to bring viewers back. So it is what it is. But I think the 2 class teams out of the conference are going to be are looking like it's going to be OKC and Memphis. They're both young. They're both hungry. They've both tasted the playoffs, so I don't think that they're going to lose. They understand they're not going to lose a step. And remember, this isn't a game-by-game thing. You got to go in there and beat them in the 7-game series. And I don't see any of the teams underneath them being able to do that. Could be a shock, because we get those shocks and surprises all the time. It always happens in the West. It never happens in the East. But we'll see what happens. But it's OKC and Memphis's world, and we'll see how everybody else plays in it when we come down to it. So,
okay, Coach Johnson, Western Conference. What are you thinking, sir?
Well, I'm agreeing with George that I think it's definitely OKC and Memphis in that division. I do like the AD trade to Dallas. I think they're a good group now, and I think Kyrie's going to be super with those assortment of bigs. Like you said, AD going to play his natural position, which he loves. The thing about the Lakers, I think, going to hurt the Lakers, having to rescind the Mark Williams trade. I thought getting Mark Williams was a great piece. I liked him at Duke. He's an athletic shot blocker. But now, how did this guy fail the physical?
In season.
Man, these Duke players are killing me, man.
He failed the physical. He's been playing all year, supposedly. Now he fails the physical? I mean,
In season. That's crazy.
again, I like Memphis. I like what they're doing also with young Zach Edey. He gives them a huge piece in the middle that allows them other young guys to run free. But OKC is really good, and now that Chet's back, they're gonna have a chance to be excellent. OKC is they're fun to watch, and other teams should be scared of them.
Yeah. All right, Robert, bring some levity to this. We're going back and forth. Any thoughts on the West, sir?
Well, Zach Edey, put him in a pick and roll with John Morant and let him go, man. Let him go.
Yes.
I mean, that's going to be entertaining to watch, and it's going to be interesting to see if anybody can figure out how to defend that. I'm going to do my usual watch out for the Nuggets. You don't want to play them until the finals if you can avoid it, just because of Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
But the two best teams are clearly the Thunder and the Grizzlies right now.
All right, and Dad, please stop, man. What are we doing? There's no government conspiracy when your team is like second in the conference. I don't understand.
Yeah,
You know how they're doing. Ain't you winning? But anyway, I digress. When we get back, fans, in segment 2, we're gonna let the trade winds blow. Our panel's gonna tell you 1 to 2 teams that they like what they did around the trade deadline, and see what we can do with this. We'll be right back on the Yacht Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Safe Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Safe Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today. Welcome back to the Yacht Coaches Podcast in segment 2. The trade deadline's open. There's about 30 games left. We follow the standings every week all year. So now our panelists are going to pick a team that they want to talk about in terms of the moves they made, either good or bad. And Will, start us off, man. What team do you think either made great moves or same old stuff? Because I saw the Wizards got Marcus Smart. So I don't even know where you want to go with this.
Well, I would like to say about my team with the Wizards, man. They got a great grade, because people look at grades in terms of things that you acquire. But I'm looking at, if your plan is to get rid of contracts, if your time is to remove people from things, they had a great trade. They had a great trade deadline. They got rid of a lot of contracts they didn't want. They have a ton of open money. They won't be good for 2-3 years, but this is what you're supposed to do as a bad team. You're supposed to empty all the BS, all the nonsense, get rid of all those bad players that you don't need. We couldn't do anything with Valanciunas. Kuz was a great asset to trade him. We had, at some point, we got to get rid of Jordan Poole.
Yes.
I think as a bad team, that's the thing that you had to do. I think that you have to do, get rid of every person. I know George is making all these George's faces and all this stuff. He's not a real fan. He's not a real Wizard fan, so he doesn't understand. He's not really understand. You have to you have to empty the swamp. Your boy says it. Empty the swamp. Get rid of all the trash. And then now you move forward on your thing. You have money. You have flexibility. You have a ton of things you can do. I mean, there's not much that the Wizards could do that say, okay, let's bring in a player that's going to change the season. That's going to bring a player. Let's change it the next 2 years. There's not going to happen. So what they did was they got rid of contract. They got rid of expiring contracts. They got rid of guys that they didn't really need. Now they're developing guys that they're like, hey, now guys who got 18 minutes now are going to get 25 minutes. Let's see what y'all can do. Here's guys that got 15 minutes. Now he's getting 17, 18. Let's see what's going on. They're playing practice ball right now. They're seeing who they're going to play. I doubt that most of the guys on that roster won't be on the team in 2 years anyway. The coach won't be the coach here next year. So I like what they did. If you're gonna tank hard, man. And if there's a book of how to tank, I've been saying it to people. I may have even texted you guys. If he wins the way he tanks, watch out, because that dude is doing a masterclass on tanking, and I give him the credit, and I give him the B is what he gets. That's what he did. Yeah, if you didn't, I give him a B, and that's
all right. So George, go ahead and tell me a team that caught your eye during the trade deadline.
Before I even get started, applause to William Cotton. That's the best soliloquy I have heard for a team.
Shakespearean.
Yes, it was, boy. Hey, you earned your English degree right there.
Hey, I tried, man. Moco, baby. Best teachers. Best teachers.
God, dog. Y'all gonna make me do this for real, aren't you? I'm gonna have to talk. You know that. Oh, damn it! I gotta talk about the Lakers and this damn trade. I got it. I'm gonna have to. I gotta go over to them. It's typical Lakers. It's for the glitz and glam and for the highlights, and that's what they did. Now you got all these stories coming out about Luka and Dallas and how certain people were upset with him, and he said this, whatever. You know, I have to give the Lakers all the credit in the world. They know what to do to stay in the headlines to keep them relevant. He's there. Let's see. I don't know. You know how much it makes them a solid playoff team instead of falling into the play-in category. Does it get them? Does it make them, or do they have the personnel to be a contender? I mean, yeah, but you know, a whole lot of things gotta happen for them to be there. But what it does set them up, it does set up the Laker mystique for later on after LeBron leaves, and you know what happens afterwards, because just like the Lakers will do, they'll invest everything into a top line player and try to build around them. So for them and how they're set up and how they regularly do things, it was totally Lakers, and it was, you know, the B plus A, whatever they get out of it is a great move, because saw them the other night, last 2 nights, they have been killing people because they have firepower to do it now. They got the perfect center to go with LeBron and Luka right now, who's not looking to do anything else but rebound and kick the ball out to them. So they're doing well. Now, the interesting thing I want to see is what happens with the other piece with the Connect trade, because that fell through because the kid failed the physical. So we're going to see what happens, if he's coming back, or exactly what's going to happen with that. Because if he comes back, it's just another piece added to it. So they're trying to do what they can do to try to get LeBron another ring. But you know, it was a total Laker trade. It was for the headlines, and it did what it was supposed to do.
All right, Coach.
Well, Will, great job, baby. Great job.
Coach Johnson, you've got the league in front of you. Any team catch your eye in terms of what moves they made at the trade deadline?
Yes. Based on one game. Last night, Jimmy Butler's performance uplifted the entire Bay Area with Golden State. They came back from 21 down. They looked bad. They looked okay in the first half, although they was down. But second half, he gave them something they haven't had in a long time. You know, as great as Steph is, Jimmy has a different demeanor. And he's meaner, and it just spread it throughout everyone. He looked super last night playing for them. And
well, he's well rested.
Yeah, very
well rested. You know, and additionally, if you remember, he said he didn't want to he did not want to go to Golden State. He didn't want to sign an extension. Well, he's there. He signed an extension. I thought his play last night showed that they did make the right decision bringing him in.
All right, Jimmy won't be happy when he sees that first state tax check, though. All right,
yeah.
Robert.
No, he won't.
Robert, any team catch your eye with their moves at the trade deadline?
Well, I'm gonna stay local here and talk about the Spurs a little bit. Getting De'Aaron Fox, that's a big piece for them. Because
Yes.
now you have a big and you have a point guard.
Yes.
And they need some wings. The wings that they have don't shoot the ball terribly well. There's a couple of young ones that I think they're hoping will improve. But you can find 3-and-D guys. You can find those guys. And that's really the next piece for them. And the interesting thing about this is what they didn't do. They get 3 picks from Atlanta. They control 3 picks from them. The Hawks, I think, are starting to get on the tank train.
Yes.
Because they just dumped DeAndre Hunter and Bogdanovich for basically nothing.
Beans.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
they got worse.
They
and
did.
those 3 picks belong to the Spurs. They're probably not going to make the playoffs this year, I don't think. But they will next year. And they're going to be a force to be reckoned with here for too long.
Hey,
Hey, I think real quick, and you just brought up the Hawks. The Hawks are doing something that a season too late, at least a season too late, because that chemistry they had, that they rode to the playoffs, and Ice Trey became the man and whatever. That was 4 seasons, 3 seasons ago.
Yes, it was.
Too late from emptying out everything and getting it and starting over. So it's sad, but it's gonna be a long time in Atlanta, like it is in Washington. I don't know which one gonna make it back first, but it's gonna. Well, Washington ain't never been there, so we gonna see what happens.
Well,
all right,
and
go ahead.
I mean, Atlanta, what are they gonna? What do you have? I mean, what does Atlanta have now?
Is
Young.
Trey even going to be there after the summer?
I don't think he will be.
I don't think so
not.
either.
I don't think he will be. He's
I
going
don't think
not.
so either.
He'll go somewhere else. So we'll see what happens. But Atlanta's in bad shape.
All right, so fans, when we get back in segment 3, we're going to introduce you to the most intriguing prospects in the WNBA draft. We're a month away from March Madness for everybody. This is the time to start putting some stars on some teams and some players. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful antidotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is segment 3. We're going to talk about the most intriguing prospects in this year's WNBA draft. So the mock drafts are out. They're talking about a lot of folks. Our panels have taken a look at them. So we're going to ask each panelist, which is that one player that you're like, this is who you need to see coming out of the college draft, coming into the WNBA. Robert, you are first. What you got, sir?
Well, so the Dallas Wings have the first pick, and they're crazy if they don't take Paige Buckets, man. I watched Tennessee and UConn this past
That was a
week.
great game.
Great
Great game.
great game. And and even though UConn lost, I mean, she is clearly the best player on the floor. She just plays at a different pace. She sees the floor better. She is by far the best player available in this draft. And if Dallas doesn't take her, it's because her people are saying that she doesn't want to play there. But that's who you got to get right there. That's the best player in the draft.
All right, George, is there a player that's intriguing to you coming out for the WNBA draft this year in women's college basketball?
Robert knows that I'm mad now because he took my one. Because he and I have already had these conversations where it's like I'm either gonna be, I'm gonna be torn next year between Plum and Paige Buckets about who my favorite player is. But if I gotta go to if I gotta go pick somebody else to talk about, I tell you, really intriguing is the two guards out of Notre Dame.
Oh my goodness! Yes,
they are tough.
Yes,
and either one of them, I could go either way because either the one I forgot the point guard with the glasses. I love her how she distributes. I love how they play defense, and the other one's a walking bucket. She can fill it up, so you can't go wrong there. So I like out of everybody outside of Juju and Paige, those two young ladies.
Yeah, Olivia Miles and Sonia Clinton. Yep.
So, and out of those two young ladies, they're terrific. I can't wait to see both of them in the league next year. But my favorite is Buckets, and we know that. So they're going to be tough next year. They're going to be tough.
All right, Coach Johnson, what do you got, sir?
Well, again, it's a consensus that Paige is by far the best attractive player in this draft. But what classification is the big girl from Oklahoma?
That I do not know.
Okay, because there's a handful of bigs in the women's game that are outstanding in terms of post play, rebounding. Again, I don't know what class they are. I'm just watching games because, again, going back to what Robert said, that Tennessee game and UConn was super. Then Tennessee bounced back and beat Oklahoma. I watched USC last night, and even though Juju shot terrible, she couldn't make a shot last night. It was a great game. They just put the foot down on the pedal and went to work. The thing I keep laughing at, and you guys correct me here, there are the top 25 young ladies playing the game. They're better skill-wise than almost about 1/3 of guys at the end of benches sitting on Division I benches skill-wise. These young ladies are super. But again, I go back to you guys, right? Paige is, like you said, if Dallas don't take her, somebody gonna get fired. Somebody's getting fired.
Coach, last night that USC game, Kiki's a monster. The big plays in the post for USC. That was a pickup for them. So,
oh my goodness, hey man, she was snatching rebounds left and right. It was fun to watch. And I'm calling my guys, my team, and telling them, watch these young ladies play. They play within themselves. They do what they do well, And we got guys, I'm in a Division III level. I got guys can't play a lick, and they swear they better than what they are.
Yeah. Okay, Cottonman, I think I know what direction you're going in, but who's got your eye for the draft, for the WNBA draft?
Oh, I mean, I very personally, I like Paige Buckets, man. I've been following her since high school. That's kind of really got my attention to the women's game. I just saw the way she played. I was like, yo, she's different. Like the way she was moving was just different. I really enjoyed her game. And I was very upset when she messed up her knee a couple years ago. And I'm glad she's back into the game, man. She's healthy and she's doing her thing. So I've been following the story. So I'm very invested at this point. Very excited about her, and very, well deserved too. She worked her way, and again, she went to one of those schools where it's not easy when you get hurt. It's not easy to get your spot back. You're not like you're bringing dogs in every year. Yeah, you bring dogs every year. So it's hard to get your spot back. It's like getting hurt in Alabama. We'll see if he'll be here next year. I am interested in what Washington's doing. They're looking at this young lady named Dominique Malonga. She's from France. She reminds me of Elena Delle Donne in a way. They're similar. The way they play. I'm a little biased because we have the same birthday, so that's another thing. Let's go. Let's do it. But I like that they're going with I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing, man. It's going to be a long, and like Coach Johnson said, there's a young woman over in Iowa State, Audi Crooks. We need to keep an eye on her. Yeah. She is a walking brick house, bro. I'm trying to tell you, 23-10 on an easy day. She just had 33 last night with like 8 or 9 rebounds and dominated Colorado. So she is going to be. They're not talking to her right now, but trust me, you'll hear that name soon. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the Mystics can do, man. If they can recreate that same 2018 final run and see if we can bring it back. So we'll see. But I'm excited, man. Much love to Paige Buggins, man, because I'm a big fan. And if you ever read this, been following you since high school, and I love it.
All right, I gotta jump in. AZ Fudd is the person I'm following the most. I know her dad, Tim. And I still go back to when she was in middle school, and I'm out recruiting at Hood, and I see Tim in the gym. We say our best, and hey, how's your kid doing? Man, she's gonna be a good one. Yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, because Will God knows how indifferent I am to everything. And then years later, I see Tim, and he said, "I told you my daughter's gonna be pretty good." I was like, "That was the kid in the gym." Okay, well done. And she had some injuries and all that, but I'm hoping UConn makes a long run, and I'm hoping she sneaks into the lottery. Anything else from anybody? I'm sorry.
I want to commend my man William Cotton, because he showed his total DMV blood right now. he's taking out. Oh, that's all we'll worry about. All the way down to the Mystics, baby. I got you.
Just the Yankees. That's the only team outside of this, outside of the state. That's it.
I hear you, brother.
I know it kills Robert, but it's I have
like rooting for the house and blackjack.
So with that, as we close,
the Dodgers.
We are thrilled to announce that the Odd Coaches podcast is a part of the Cascade Sports Network family, with Cascade Sports being the home of student athletes. The synergy between Cascade and the CK Save Project, with our focus on education and athletics, that's unmatched. We're excited to join the team. We're going to bring valuable insights. We're going to continue to support student athletes and promote excellence in academics and athletics. Follow us, follow Cascade Sports. Super producer Kelly will put cascadesports.tv on your fancy screen if you're looking at us on YouTube. But stay tuned for exciting content, resources. Really looking forward to the expansion of the OCP to the Cascade Sports TV family. So on behalf of our Cavalcade of Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams, saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we'll see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music,
iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.